in the old, you will leave things behind. In the new, you reconcile yourself to things. In the old, you leave your job, you leave your profession, you leave your family, you leave your friends. That's the old system. In the new system, you go back to that in a redemptive mindset, a mindset of reconciliation, not from the same place, but from a place of influence and impact. And you redeem that sphere. So that's the difference between religion and grace. And so once I understood that, it gave me very easy access for me to be able to just be normal. The point is that each one of you have got an assignment in life. And if I can make sure that you can do the assignment that you're called to do in the right way, then we have won.
Welcome everyone, Wow Tuesday. We are so happy to see your beautiful faces. It's going to be an absolutely epic service. We are on, yes. If Kay can find the energy to freak out on you today, you can find the energy to cheer him on and basically pull out the best of the word that is in store for you. Okay, so it's about my father's business, right? We had a really awesome first session on Sunday, and I think you got a glimpse of some of the stuff that you'll be learning about, okay? God's economy, God's righteous systems, his righteousness, but also his kingdom, establishing his kingdom and what it means, and how he pursued and went after certain types of people, okay? He wasn't interested in just going into the temple and building a church or a temple there, right? The Jewish synagogues. He was interested in going to every sphere, every avenue, and even to the unthinkable avenues or places, right? Because in every sphere and every area of life, there is hope, and there's a calling, and there's a purpose, and there's a gifted person or people in those areas. There's suffering and the alleviation of suffering that is possible in every single sphere of life. And he was interested in all of that. Not one, all. Not one, but all. And so, church or Christianity or whatever you want to limit it to, sometimes you can think it's just about theology, it's just about different things, but no, it is the very way of life. Okay, and even though Jesus was born into cultural limitations, okay, he worked with those limitations, but he never endorsed those limitations, okay? He surrounded himself with women, with Samaritans, with the unheard of, tax collectors, okay? All these different things you don't understand was so counterculture, okay? It was really counterculture, and according to the culture of the time, it would be total desecration and shame to do certain things that he did, okay? And he risked everything. Okay, I mean, he risks being called all sorts of names and all sorts of different judgments just so that he can show and propagate the kingdom that he actually wants to propagate. Okay, it is unlike the kingdoms of the world. And when you're so used to looking at all that every single day, sometimes they expected it to look like that when he came, when Messiah came, but it was never meant to be that. Okay, and it's something that you discern in your spirit. Okay, it's something that you know, and it's something that you lean to, but like Dylan said, there's a struggle within every person. There's flesh and there's spirit, okay? And there's your own temptations and your own desires that sometimes you empower and that you don't want to let go of at the cost of something else that compromises the furthering of his kingdom. Okay, so we're going to go into all these areas, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. And it's also going to be a great lead up to our friends in the USA and the US continent for Financial Flow in March. Okay, we're actually, yes, we have the support of our Sri Lankan crew who are releasing us with their blessing. at really, really busy, crazy times, okay? So we're coming for a very quick in and out, but we're coming to Dallas for Financial Flow in March. It's actually prophetically ordained at this particular time, and I know Kay is carrying an awesome message, and there's an awesome team as well. Philip is preaching, Manju's preaching, and we're also having breakout rooms with Haritha, with the 360 Trader, with Mark Wilburn. So it's going to be really awesome, and we're really looking forward to having you there. And all this is getting ready and building you and digging you and forming you and reshaping you in order so we can have an awesome 2024 and beyond. Okay? Really. And I don't know if you're discerning it, but this year is very different. It's very different. I feel that we have been propelled into maturity in so many different areas. You're like forced to grow up, right? You can't be kuchiku anymore, people. Okay, there's like kuchiku when you want to feel like it, but when you put to the test, you're like, no, I really need to mature up. Okay, and that's really good stuff. It's good stuff because where you're going and what you're called to do, you need to be ready for it. Okay, you really need to be ready for it because there's an influx of others coming in that you need to be ready to serve. All right, so God is preparing you. Wow. Okay. Now, are you ready for an amazing session for Kay to pour out the word into your hearts that are prepared to receive and be transformed? Then give it up for Kay and the word.
Thank you. Thank you. You can take a seat. I can't shout too much, so you can sit down. Come. I've kept my voice on reserve all day without talking to Fiona, so that I could just release some words to you today, okay? So just pray for me, all right? Someone told me it is a 90-day cough. Have you heard of that? Is it supposed to be a 90-day cough? Yeah, someone said 90. There's a 90-day cough going around. He said, well, Kirby, you got that. And I said, oh boy. I need to pump my prayer team up a little more. So prayer team, it can't be a 90-day cough, okay? So that's what someone told me. There's a 90-day cough going around. Like, what? Like a 90-day cough? That's worse than COVID. So, okay. So, we've started a new series, and it's very typical of the adversaries that would try to get our voices at this moment of time. So, but we are used to that, and we are used to understanding the strategies of adversaries and how adversaries come up when we are going into a new season, a new dimension. This is a part of our walk of faith. I'll talk a little more about it even as we go into the scriptures. Okay, so just understand that this series, please bring your friends, please bring people you know. Trust me, this series will give you an insight into meaning and purpose in your life and your assignment on the earth. Every single person has an assignment. A lot of people at church don't know their assignment. And because they don't know their assignment, what happens is they find out very later in life what they're really supposed to do. That doesn't mean it's a waste. It's okay that you find out what you're supposed to do. At whatever age, it's good to find out, okay? But it's fabulous to find out early. Okay, it's fabulous to find out early. And so Fiona and I, if you all know anything about our lives, the way we run this ministry, the way we run WOWLife Church, the way we nurture our leaders, all that is very, very different to anything that you might have seen or been in. I'm not saying that we are the only church like this, but I'm saying very clearly that we are probably a very few on the earth who conduct church like we do, okay? And there might be others, I'm yet to find them. One person I did find, I mean, I not only found him, I went and submitted to him because he's done much more than I could do. When we are dealing with millions of dollars and then serving people and giving things away, they are dealing with billions of dollars and giving things away. And I realized that I needed to submit to him and learn the language that I already have been practicing. Okay, so everything that you will hear is trust me, I'm learning a whole lot of new stuff from him. But also it's been in our DNA, and you've seen us work through this for these so many years. When the Lord called us from a world that was full of fun and laughter, and merriment, and really very successful, and nothing wrong. I didn't see anything wrong with the world I left, really. That's the truth. I left because I was called. There's a difference, okay? People leave a world because they think it's sinful or it's bad or anything like that. I honestly had my best friends and my most loyal friends in that world, and I left that world to find a new family, which is you. But God was gracious. God was gracious to me that I walked out with these folk who were my closest friends at that time, and I walked out with them, and so He did not leave us alone. And I realized from that time onwards that the kingdom that He called us to, which is in the New Testament, and the kingdom of the old, was very different. Because from what I heard previously, because I was brought under a covering at that point of time, a very religious system, a charismatic religious system, and they said, but God would call you out away from your old friends, from all your old people, from everything you know, and you'll be taken out of that, and then God will start establishing you. And do I believe in that? Yes. But honestly, it didn't happen to us. Okay, so that's very strange, and it was the first thing that put a light in my head, like, oh, I'm supposed to leave my old friends and then start something new. And that's what everyone else in the old thing told me. Like, you leave your businesses, you leave this, you leave your old friends, and you start something new. But with us, He saved our best friends, all of them, okay, at one time, and moved them all to church. And so from that time, I knew there's something new here. We need to watch it, because God is trying to say something. And what He's trying to say is that in the old, you will leave things behind. In the new, you reconcile yourself to things. There's a big difference. In the old, you leave your job, you leave your profession, you leave your family, you leave your friends. That's the old system. In the new system, you go back to that in a redemptive mindset, and with a mindset of reconciliation, not from the same place of carnality, but from a place of influence and impact. And you redeem that sphere. Okay? So that's the difference between religion and grace. And so once I understood that, it gave me very easy access. There were no walls for me to be able to go into the clubs, the nightclubs, my friends' houses that I'll visit on a Friday or Saturday night and hang out with them, and just be normal, okay? And not judge or try to convert or not try to bring them to church. We actually have a tremendous amount of friends outside of church who very strongly stand with us, but not ever try to bring them into this area, because that's not the point. The point is that each one of you have got an assignment in life. And if I can make sure that you can do the assignment that you're called to do in the right way, then we have won. Okay? And today we're talking about that assignment. And first, to talk about it, I need to give you a background into Jesus. And Jesus was not there to just influence a religious system. He did not bring a religion. He brought in a kingdom. And this is important to get, because as you come in these days, I promise you, you'll find out your assignment. But not only will you find out your assignment, when you find out your assignment, certain things happen. When I found out my assignment, what I was called for, what I was born for, what God dreamt about me when He placed me on the earth. He had a dream for me when He gave me this bodysuit. You know, and that mind, when His dream for me, when I realized, whoa, I can tell you one thing, that I won every fight. Now, that doesn't mean I fought, but just understand I was fighting before, but I'm trying to say I won every battle. Everything that seemed hopeless now became possible. With a tremendous amount of persecution. With a tremendous amount of adversary. Okay? So as I found out my assignment, the first thing that came against me was the adversary. There were many things that came against me. It was like, what the heck is happening? Because so many things rose up against me. I was like thinking, this is not normal. One of my problems in those days would be if one person in a lifetime had, even today, same thing. If someone has one of my problems for his whole life, it would give him a mental breakdown. One of my problems in his whole life, okay, will give him a mental breakdown. But I would eat it for breakfast every day. That was just not because I was big, or because I was strong, because I'd found my assignment. Your assignment is so unbelievable. Your assignment is so impossible. Your assignment is so hard that you can't do it alone. That's the first thing you need to get. If you understood your assignment that God had birthed you for, and if you try to do it on your own, you cannot. I promise you, I'll give you right. If I tell you the synchronicities, the favors, the abilities, the things that come to my life, it is unbelievable. You can't fabricate it. You can't make it. It sounds like fiction. Our lives sound like fiction to people. Okay? But this is not now. This has been from the time I found my assignment. But the fiction becomes our reality, and we're living the dream with tremendous amount of adversity. Like the adversity is unbelievable, but we can't even feel the adversity. If someone's like, how are you going through what you're going through? Like, oh, we're just going through. I was born. When you're born to do something, you're just born to do it. But you have to find what you're born for. And this series, I promise you, will pull that assignment out of you, and suddenly you'll realize who you are and what you're called for. And I promise you, once you get there, it's like the whole world synchronizes and sings your song, okay? With a lot of adversity, okay? Now, why I'm saying this is because Jesus did not come, you have to understand, to set up a religious system. Jesus came to influence every area of a person's life, and he called it a kingdom. You must understand the background. The kingdom that he came to establish on the earth was different to the kingdom that was already established. So that's why I explained to you the last time on Sunday that the Jewish nation had been under 500 years of conquest. So first we're talking of Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar, and you remember that whole thing, right? Nebuchadnezzar, the Persian kings, and all that. And after the Persian kings, I think there was the Egyptian king. After the Egyptian kings, there were Seleucids. They were Greeks, like Master Seleucian. The Seleucian Empire came in, and there were these two crazy people in the Seleucian, and all of them were crazy, including Nebuchadnezzar, who wanted everyone to worship him. Remember the story when he said, "Worship me"? So they had gone through enough. When people are crushed and broken and pressed down, what you get is a revolution. Okay? And so they've had enough, like 200, 300 years of like oppression, and then these crazier than others came on. The Seleucian kings, and there were a guy called Antiochus, and then his son called Antiochus Epiphanes, or one of those. And the word can someone get it for me? Epiphanes, it means the manifest God. So this guy literally named himself, I'm God. Okay? Now, Jews are henotheistic, or when you say, they're not monotheistic, don't get it wrong. Okay, Jews are henotheistic. Henotheism means that they believe in many gods, but their God was the most supreme God. But they believed in other gods. Don't make that mistake, right? They're henotheistic. Okay? So when this guy came and said, now I am God, I am the one you need to worship, they lost it. You see? And rebellion rose up from inside of them. So they were rebellious, they were strong, they mastered themselves in guerrilla warfare, and so they were ready to overthrow the government, but in certain different ways, these Jews, okay? And so that is the book of Maccabees that you get in the Catholic Bible. Maccabees came forth from there, where these Hasmoneans, who are Jewish people, started a warrior tribe to overthrow the government. You understand that? And because this guy, what's his name?
Yes.
Epiphanes. Yeah, Epiphanes. No. But his name is Epiphanes of Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, Antiochus Epiphanes. So when this guy came, he really rubbed them the wrong way. He literally went into the holy temple, put a pig on the altar. Can you imagine doing this to a Jew? Okay, and he sacrificed a pig to Zeus on the Jewish altar. You can imagine what is going on with these guys, right? They are completely revolutionary. They want blood. Okay, and they rose up, and the Maccabee brothers, they rose up, they overthrew this government, and they set up a Jewish state, finally. Okay, and so they were the kings, they the Maccabees. But finally they were thrown out because the Jews, they fought, the two brothers fought against each other, and that's how, after that, Herod and the whole kingdom came and Jesus came. So you must understand, when Jesus came, what they're expecting out of Jesus. They're expecting a Messiah. Think about this for a moment of time. So they are not expecting religion. They are expecting a political movement. This is very important, okay? And he needed to prove to them that he was that leader. He was not trying to prove to them that he was not that leader. He was proving to them that he was the Messiah, that he was a political leader. Very important to get. Okay? And if you don't get that, you won't realize that he's bringing a political transformation, a kingdom, to an already established kingdom. And so they had seen that the Maccabees had overthrown the previous Gentile kings, and they're looking for the same type of fervor in Jesus. You just get it. They want someone to come and kill someone, slaughter all of them, and then become the king. Jesus came in that type of atmosphere. And so they wanted a warrior king, a warrior priest. Because that's what they were used to, a warrior priest. Okay? And so Jesus must now manage expectation. You see, and a lot of people don't get this because, you see, when we take power, we don't manage expectation. When we take power, we want power in certain ways, in the ways it comes to us. And what we do is we take power, and the orphan who didn't have anything, the person who was persecuted, pressed down, suppressed, when he rises up, it happens all the time. It happens in every type of movement you can imagine. It happened with my brothers, the black American brothers in the USA. It happens with in this land. You can see how the Sinhalese and the Tamil war has been for so long, okay? It happens with feminism. It happens with LGBTQ. It happens with every movement that has been suppressed. What happens? Now, he comes to lead that movement. So think about it for one moment at a time. And so then you will realize, I don't think a lot of people appreciate the type of justice and fairness and balance that Jesus needs to bring. Because they are looking for now someone to feed the victimization, to feed the victimhood, to feed the brokenness, okay? And to give these victims who are broken now a new challenge and to raise them up so that they could be kings again. Jesus needs to change something, not like the Maccabees did. He started working and telling them, it's not about the visceral. It's not about the external. It's not about going out there. It's about you. And they're like, no. It's so easy. You know, it's so easy. I think it was the famous poet, Emerson, who said, if you want to tell someone, if you want to tell the truth, you tell someone straight away. But if you want to influence him, you tell him what you want to hear. You see? And so Jesus didn't take the easy route. This is important. Because just understand, if he justified their failures and their misery by the external oppressors, which is easy to do, that's what politics does. That's the political movement. The political movement justifies your failures, why you have no petrol, why you have no electricity, why you have no car, why you have no job, why you have no all this is because of the external. Can't you see you've been oppressed? Can't you see they've taken all your money? Can you see the corruption? Can you see all this outside? It's very easy when you're in power and you've been raised up as a leader to draw people to you. I can do the same with you as long as there's an adversary. As long as I have you fighting for something. Do you understand that? And to rile you up and to get you riled up and say, yes, I'm going to now kill someone. It's so easy, but I just show you, these are the guys. That is why you have failed. You see, Jesus doesn't do that. And I think people fail to appreciate what the New Testament is doing. It's so easy for him to become a Maccabee. In fact, you know that they took Jesus at one point, they took the palms and all this, and they went to him and said, you are our king. And they tried to take him to make him the king. Remember that story? A lot of people miss what is going on. I'm talking about the redemption of power, the redemption of identity, and the redemption of authority, my friends, for you. You see, God has given us, God has really blessed us, guys. Okay? I'm not coming out of some sorry story of, oh, I need your help. We're doing this to help. Okay? I don't need your help, not in any bad way, because I kept all my businesses, okay, and all my friends when I got into this to help you. Okay? So I don't need anyone to come and help me. This is important to get. Why am I saying that? Is because we are not coming from a failed concept or a failed identity, and now we're looking for friends. You're not looking or a failed, I need you. Please, I need you. It's nice to feel, I feel really cool to say I need you and to say, yes, you're there. I know you're there, 100% I know you're there. And I can feel the victim like, that feels so good, okay? But Jesus didn't come from that. He came from a very high place, okay? From authority and power. And then he was able to lay down his life because he knew that feeding that victim and riling up another political movement and riling up the activist that is inside of every man who's suppressed, which I was so good at doing before I got into this business, okay? I was so good at raising the activists to make sure that you know that you are inferior and that people are out to get you, and then get up a band of boys to start a revolution is very easy, okay, which I did, okay, in my younger days. But when I got here, I realized I need to be able to make sure that people understand that the revolution starts in their hearts. That's what Jesus did. And what I've realized is that as we went down that road, and that doesn't take big sermons, it doesn't take long messages, it just takes hanging out and just seeing us for who we are. You see, it happens in everyday life. And then you realize, this thing is different. You see? And I can tell you this, that success is guaranteed. Success is guaranteed. No matter what industry you're in, you will succeed. Because you are not falling trap what the world is trying to throw at you. You see, you first change yourself, you change your heart, you change the internal, and live your life according to the example that Jesus presents to you, and you have influence. Influence becomes a part of your everyday role. You understand that? Anyone else can do the other thing. There are many who are throwing out polarities. Do you understand that? Now, that is why I want to take you, we'll start from Matthew 5, I want to show this, that Jesus went specifically to very specific groups. Now, Matthew, if you're going to Luke 5, verse 29. Luke 5, verse 29. Just to show you a few things, right? Jesus preached the kingdom. It wasn't church. There was no concept of church. He preached values into kingdom, okay? Now, look at this. Then Levi, okay, that's a nice name for a tax collector, the same name for Matthew, gave him a great feast, okay? On the 16th and the 13th, we had a great feast, okay? Okay, so he gave him a great feast. I can imagine a group of tax collectors get together to throw a feast. What does that look like? No, honestly, come on, seriously, Philip. You get a group of custom officers and say, "Macam party down, you can see what happens," right? The custom officers have all the stuff. If you didn't know, okay. I mean, he gave a great feast. You can imagine what this looks like. They weren't short of anything. I'm talking about imported chocolate and all that kind of stuff. They weren't just short of anything. They threw him a great feast. Did he say, "I won't come"? Did he say, "I'm too religious"? He said, "Oh, don't you know I'm Jesus Christ? I'm the Son of God. I will only come into the temples." Huh? No, I'm showing you your role on the earth and how the church, if you go to a religious, institutionalized place that doesn't understand this, they will take you out of that world and you will lose access to people's hearts. That's why I started off saying how we did life with our friends. And we didn't change. We stopped all the naughty stuff, the bad habits. Yes, for sure. I'm not addicted to anything. But please understand that there is no judgment of them. It's a very simple concept here. Okay? Levi gave him a great feast in his own house. He didn't go to Jesus' house. He said, "Come home. Let me show you a party." Okay? I remember when Pastor Neil was there, and Jackie and Ralph and all, we just first said yes to Jesus. I remember it very clearly. We said yes to Jesus, Jackie, Ralph, Pa and Tammy, the whole lot. And Pastor Neil had come from Dubai, and there were 10 or 11 of us. And Ralph and Jackie were there. We were at the Mount Dominion Hotel. And they said yes to Jesus. He'd given President of the Gospel, Jesus come to save you, and you'll have eternal life, and you'll go to heaven and all this kind of stuff. And they said, yes, we believe in Jesus. We want to take him into our life. And the next thing is, where's the champagne? Okay? Because that's all we knew. But that's exactly why we are called differently. You're called into your world. You can't not go to the tax collector's house like many people today not go. This is what they do. Today, religious people don't go to tax collectors' houses. What's that? Many people won't go to tax collectors' houses, huh? Many people will say, no. There were friends of mine who came last time for the 16th party and they came to the door and said, I thought this is a religious event. I said, no, this is a party. I said, you're a Buddhist. If you think I'll call you for a church event. I said, I'll call you for a party. Think about it. Yeah? Because we need to be effective in our areas. And this is very important. It's a very small concept here, but it shows that Jesus was not religious. That's the first thing that you realize about WOWLife Church. We're not a religious group of people, right? We are deeply spiritual, but not religiously institutionalized like that. We are a diocese, like 670 churches. Very different, okay? So he went to the tax collector's house, and there was a great number, say this, there was a great number of tax collectors and others who sat down with him. Is it there? Say great number. Never forget that. Never forget that. He's going very specifically to a very specific group of people. If you go into Matthew 20, he goes to Zacchaeus, and Zacchaeus has climbed a tree to see him. There are thousands of people, so Zacchaeus can't come to him because thousands of people. He goes to Zacchaeus because he's trying to affect economy. Now, why is this important? Because the tax collectors, you must understand, when there is a rulership and you are just a province in the rulership, which was there, and the Roman Empire was ruling at that point of time, you needed people to tax collect. You need people to go into the townships. You need to understand the businesses, and people need to collect taxes to pay the empire. That was a normal thing. So they would hire the Jews, certain Jews, to go into every industry. So if it was the furniture industry, they would come and collect tax. If it was the architecture industry, they would collect tax. If I don't know what this guy is up to, he's up to all kinds of things. He doesn't pay. but they would come and collect tax. So so they would go into all the industries and collect tax. They were the most hated type of people because they did certain things that it would be discretionary. They were given a mandate, and they were taken twice, 3 times, 4 times. What was fair on the people. So what Jesus wanted to do was straight off, his first thing was not to have a sermon. Think about that for a moment of time. He didn't say, come on to the event, I'm going to have a WOWLife service, and then you're going to hear a message. No, he said, take me to the tax collector's house. Zacchaeus, I'm coming to stay the night there. He didn't even invite Jesus. Jesus told him, hey, Zacchaeus, you climbed a tree to see me. I'm staying the night tonight with you. Like, really? You see? And he went there, he went infiltrated into a certain area. And then he brought justice and fairness. And because he came against corruption, he came against greed, he came against all the injustices in that area with tax collection. So it was not a message. Jesus is bringing a kingdom. Please get it. Jesus is bringing a kingdom. A kingdom will affect you socially, it will affect you politically, it will affect you religiously, it will affect you economically, it will affect you in every area, and that is why you vote for governments. But Jesus is bringing not a visceral government, he's bringing a government from inside where you will be able to change your assignment, no matter who you are. If you're an architect, and we will find out, the question is, why do we have so many architects at WOW? That's a good question that Philip can ask, Nela can ask, that Lilani can ask. Yeah, Christine, I mean, so many. That's a good question. Like, why? That's what I want you to start thinking about when I finish these messages. Because I've been asking this question for years, and I want you to start asking those questions. Why are there so many certain types of people? What does Jesus want to do with them? What is the justice, what is the assignment that you have in your industry? Jesus didn't take you out of your industry and bring you to church. He came to the very industry and made a change and shifted and brought value into the industry. Because in every industry, there is injustice, there's unfairness, there's corruption, there's greed, there's self-centeredness in every industry. How can your assignment in life is not to come here and do this? This is my assignment. Your industry is to hear what I'm saying. Your assignment is hear what I'm saying and go to your industry. What are you good at? How would you know your assignment? And Dave explains this. He says, every man knows his assignment when he knows his giftings. And the gifting doesn't mean spiritual gifting. Doesn't mean prophecies or word of knowledge or anything like that. Gifting means what is your capacity? What is your capability? And also your life experience. You combine the two, and you get your assignment. Like, why did you go through what you've gone through? Ask the question. Ask Naomi why she went through what she went through in dance. Ask her about her gifting and ask her about her life experience. And you'll realize what her assignment is for dance. And you'll realize why the president will only come for her dance shows and doesn't go anywhere else. You'll realize why. Because she's fulfilling her assignment. But is the challenge much? Massive. The challenge is huge. But is there success? Absolutely. 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 You'll realize what Johan is doing in the industry. You'll realize that there's a gifting that is what is in your DNA. It is not something prophetic or prayer or something like that you can't see. You'll know your gifting at once. You will know your gifting. You need to figure it out. And then you'll also know your life experience. What have you gone through in that area? And once you know that, you got your assignment. You got your assignment. And Jesus wants to come, like he went to the tax collectors, into that area and bring justice, fairness, and righteousness. That's why you're called. When you start doing that, what will happen is glory starts coming to you. What is it called? Glory. The word glory means doxide, means weight. Like, whoa, glory starts coming to you. Now, here's the big problem. If you are committing to your assignment without church, what happens is you start sharing in the glory of God. It's a good thing because he wants you to have it, but man cannot carry that weight. And that is why all the big rock stars, all these guys, you see after a little while, they'll crash, they'll commit suicide, they'll have all kinds of problems. From the biggest billionaires to millionaires, they'll have all kinds of problems because when they're in their assignment, the glory comes down. And when the glory comes down, it crushes the person unless that person is aligned with God. That is why you'll find Justin Bieber does well. You understand what's the other guy, the guy who smokes a cigar? U2. I like him. What's his name? U2. Bono does well. Okay? You'll understand that, what's his name? What's the head guy? Walsh. Brian Walsh? Brian Walsh? Brian Walsh does well. He might be here in July, actually. So get ready. Yeah? Just to see you. Yeah? Okay? That's why he does well. Well, he's probably the best guitarist in the world. Okay? They do well because they plugged in their glory to the one who can take it. You see? And so, unless you understand that God has called you for absolute greatness, you can change the world with what he's called you, but you need to understand assignment. Assignment is not just coming on Tuesday and Sunday. My friends, coming here on Tuesday and Sunday is part of hearing the word, encourages you. Then you go out on your assignment when you leave here. And we are a church that is very interested in your assignment. We're not interested in throwing another event. You understand that? We're not interested in throwing another event just to see your faces. We're interested in you taking your leadership roles in your positions and you making a difference for the Lord. Because you're called according to his divine dream and his divine purpose. Okay? Now, so let's close with this, okay? Let's close with goat nations. Where was that? It was in, Matthew 24. Matthew 24. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Now, this scripture, and when Dave Hodgson opened it out to me and I saw it, it really blew me away because a lot of people, I didn't, but a lot of people put this scripture into eschatology. Eschatology means end times, okay? They said end times, and God divides. Have you heard this famous thing, God divides the goats and the sheep? Have you heard, how many heard God divides goats and sheep? Yeah? And so like, oh my God, this is so bad, we're going to be divided. So some of us can become goats, and some of us might become sheep. But that's not the context. But hear the context, and I'm sure there's a eschatological narrative to this, but the way he explains it, it's self-evident when you see the sheep and the goat story. Are you ready for this? Okay? Let me find it. Matthew 20, the goats and the sheep. Where is it? Come on, no. I knew this a couple of hours ago. Is it 25? Yeah. What is that? Yeah. What is it? 25:31, okay? Yeah, 25:31, okay. 25, 31. Okay, yeah. Can I have it up there? Verse 31. I like encouragement like that from the audience. Yeah, that's good. Come on, give me a hand. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I like that. You see, this is a free church. You can do that. You can do that. You can shout whatever you want to shout. I didn't hear him properly, but I know it was encouragement. Okay? And, yeah. Because it's a free church. Come on, give a big shout. Yeah. Because I don't get upset when people say things because for me it is a conversation. Like, it's very rude when no one responds. Okay? So it's good that you respond. Okay? So here we are. Okay? When the Son of Man comes in his glory, the holy angels with him, and he sits on the throne, listen carefully, and all the nations will gather before him, and he will separate them from the other, as shepherds divide his sheep from the goats. You see it here? And we think, oh my God, this situation is at the end of the world. This is going to happen. But actually, it's happening right now. And he will set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on the left. Okay? You don't have to wait till the end time to become a sheep or a goat. You can do that today. Some of you will realize. Okay? So here it is. Then the king will say to those on the right hand, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. And the word inherit means that you can have this. That means it is yours. And the word kingdom means the dominion and the authority is what I started off saying, that God has planned something great for you. And as you step into your authority, you'll realize things start moving and shaking because you're now in your assignment and your purpose. Okay? And so right here he says, it will become yours. He says, come, I'm going to give you what I prepared before the foundations of the world. The dream that he had for you now will be yours. You see? That's what he's trying to say. This is kingdom. This doesn't mean heaven. Okay? Kingdom means dominion of a king. Okay? And it says, for I was hungry and you gave me food. Is it there? Did he say you prayed for half an hour every single day and therefore now you can have this? I'm asking you a question. Very, very important. Does it say that you said your prayers and you lit your candles every single day and therefore now you can enter in? Does it say it? No. Very, very important. What is Jesus coming for? What does he want from you? Okay? At the end, what will you be judged by? This. Okay? And it's not happening then, it's happening now. Okay? I was hungry, okay? And you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. Wow. Okay? You didn't say, oh, you were fasting for 40 days and I thought you were really holy. Oh, you stopped smoking cigarettes. Oh, well done. Thank you. Just well done. Thank you. I'll give yourself a big hand. Okay. Stop smoking, please. But nothing to do with Jesus, to do with your lungs. Okay? Okay? Someone say, oh, I just stopped my drinking. I had an alcohol problem. Good. Your wife will be very happy. Nothing to do with Jesus. Okay? To get your assignment done, you will have to not be drunk. It helps. Okay? Otherwise, nothing gets done, right? So he doesn't say anything else. He says, I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was hungry, you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. See that? Okay? Stranger means someone who doesn't have your values. Someone who is completely outside of your value system. Okay? And you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I like this one. I was in prison and you came to me. Okay? That's a good one. Okay? What is he talking about? He's not talking about, oh, you prayed so much, you stopped drinking, you stopped smoking, you started going to church, you became a good boy. Those are all just what happens when you get to know Jesus. That has nothing to do with your assignment. This is assignment. It's like Dave explains it like this. He says when you go to Coca-Cola, the company, and you join Coca-Cola, the company, and then, when you join a company, they get you to sign a letter, and so Coca-Cola has certain values. I don't know what values they have, but they have certain values. Like they'll have values about that you can't be racist, that you can't be, what is this? You can't be, what is it? Racist. You can't be, give me some other values that Coca-Cola might have, or the companies that you have. You can't, you got to be politically correct. You can't be bashing LGBTQ, and you can't be doing all that kind of stuff, inclusive, and they have all these things today, right? Okay? I'm talking of Coca-Cola, okay? Or Starbucks that have these values. I'm not talking of church or anything like that. I'm talking of Starbucks. And so you fulfill those roles and you say, no, I've not been racist and I'm not, been bashing any other minority group or anything like that. And I'm doing well. And then you expect a salary, but you've been hired to market. You're in a marketing team. And then at the end of the month, they fire you. But you say, but I've done everything you told me to do. I've not been, before that, I was like racist, and I'm not like treating all people in the same way. I was bashing LGBTQ and stuff like that, but now I'm not doing anything like that. How you can't fire me because I fulfilled everything that you want me to do. And as Christians say, I stop smoking, I stop drinking, I come to church, I read the Bible, I do this, I do that. Man, why am I not blessed? Kirby, I stopped smoking the whole of last year. I fasted with you 40 days. Why am I not blessed? No, because you were hired for marketing. You see, and when Dave explained it, I was like, yes, exactly. Like, okay, now that you stop smoking and drinking and saying bad words and swearing and all this kind of stuff and doing all that kind of stuff, like, what about the hungry? Are you feeding them? What about thirsty? Are you giving them to drink? What about the ones who didn't have clothes? Are you feeding them? What about your industry? Are you being a solution in your industry? What about your assignment? And that's what's important. You see? And the righteous will answer him and say, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you and thirsty and all this kind of stuff? You see? You got it there? All this kind of stuff. Keep going. 40, 42, 43. Keep going. And then he also says to these, on the left, depart from me into the cursed fire, to the devil and all his angels. Okay? These are the goats, okay? I was hungry and you gave me no food. I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger and you did not take me. No, but I prayed. I fasted. I did 5-day program. I lit all my candles. I didn't say bad words. Come on. I was faithful to my husband and wife. Very good. You'll have peace and quiet at home. What are you called for? Are you fulfilling your purpose? Are you fulfilling your purpose? I was nice to people. I didn't say bad words. I changed. That doesn't cut it here. You can be a goat. After doing all that, because you never took what you had and you never did what you were called to do. You never fulfilled your assignment, guys. Okay? This is very important, guys. This is very important. We'll close with Jesus went to the minorities. He went to the people who were abused. He went to women and he was there for them. But he was very careful in the way he raised people up. He went to the Samaritans who were completely of a different religion and race, that were oppressed. He went to the people who were rebel. You understand that? And the way he raised them up, he was very careful. And the sons of thunder said, give us the guns. And he said, can we call on fire? He said, no, I think you missed me. You see, it's so easy for me to incite that kind of spirit in you, isn't it? You persecuted Lot. It's very easy for me to tell my pastors, you're so persecuted and so whatever. I feel so bad for you. I'm there for you. I'm going to be your savior. Let's rise up in a certain way. It's so easy for me to do that. To pick on, to justify their failures and their misery by putting it on someone else. But when you're called to be leaders, we're called to be leaders in different ways. And we are called to follow Jesus because if we do it right like this, we're going to cause not victims, but we're going to cause leaders. And that's what we're interested in. Leaders in every single industry. And from this series, you see the leaders will rise. And why I'm doing this is because I'm setting myself up for financial flow in Dallas. And if you're watching me from the USA, make sure you're there. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What you're going to get in financial flow will be the advanced aspect of this stuff. We're going to sit together and I'm going to show you practical ways to do it. When I come back, maybe I'll sit with WOWLife Church and we'll break into small groups and do practical sets. God bless you guys. See you at financial flow. All right. I want the pastoral team to come. Pastoral team to come. We're not going to prophesy or anything today. We're not going to prophesy or do that kind of stuff today, simply because I want you to understand the word that is preached here. I want you to understand the value what you have. Okay? To be able to really take what we have, like just understand that Fiona and I come here to pour out into your lives. All these leaders come to pour out into your lives so that you can be that person that God has called you to be. Okay? So when you do come up for prayer, come up and get them to pray. You got a great group. Only 2 of you today in your assigned groups. Is there Shamil as well? Yeah? Okay. You've got a great group of people. Come and pray. Ask, say, Lord, let these revelations mean something. It's not about miracles, signs, and wonders. We can do that all the time. I have more miracles and signs and wonders than most men can even imagine. But it's about when I come to places like this, when I hear stories like this, when I hear messages like this, I want someone to lay hands on me. I want someone to say, pray for me that I will get this. These words, believe me, the Bible says that it's sown in the hearts of man. When you leave this door, the enemy comes and gets it. Trust me. When you leave this door, there's something called adversary in your life. He'll come and take it as you open the door. You'll be challenged with this word. I promise you. Have you gone to hell and back? Gone to hell and back to bring this stuff? I promise you. When you leave the door, you'll be challenged with this very thing. Okay? Get someone to pray over you. And say, let this word go deep inside of me. I don't want to lose it. It's precious. It's valuable. It's life unto me. Okay? And come and get people to pray because these people love you and they're there to pray. They're tremendous and powerful leaders. All of them. These ones who lay hands on you. Tell them your story. Say, pray for my work. Pray for my business. I promise you, WOWLife Church, by the end of this series, the most incredible things will happen in your life. The most incredible, I promise you. I'll give it to you in writing. The most incredible assignments will come to you. The most incredible breakthroughs will come to you. The most incredible partnerships will start aligning to you, WOWLife Church. God is about to raise you up. Do you know that what we have to go through because God is taking us to the next dimension? Don't think that things just happen. Things happen because that's the cost that needs to pay. How much do you think it'll cost for you to get there? Just think, how much do you think it costs for you to get there? How much do you think it costs me to get here? It costs our lives. It costs our lives. And therefore, it'll cost. But believe me, this is a church that has paid the cost. This is not one of those flowery churches. We don't preach a prosperity gospel here. We come through suffering. Suffering is a part of us. There's no other way into this kingdom than through suffering. There's no other way. I know no other way. I never preach anything else. It comes through tremendous amount of suffering. And then the kingdom comes. But thank God we got a church that has suffered. And the church, others have suffered for you. And that's the beauty of a church. That in this place, there are people who have gone through tremendous suffering, leaders who've taken so much. Now you don't have to suffer if you just discern the body. That's communion and say, I take it. They've gone through much for me. Plug me into the system, Lord. It's what I did in my life. God has not been a debtor to me, my friends. God has not been a debtor. Come on, let's get some prayer. Let's worship God. Thank you.